I'm Greg Garbus of Four Season Tools. We're talking about now is how to build sidewalls for V-track tunnels. When you build a stationary tunnel, you have the luxury of having a foundation to build up from. In the background, you can see there's a stationary tunnel all the way back there where the posts are set in concrete. When you have a movable tunnel, we have to build our sidewalls and panels. So we build our tunnel, we build our sidewalls and panels, we build our truss tops, we tilt our sidewalls up, and then cap them with the trusses. Different styles of sidewalls or sidewall ventilation systems will be built slightly differently, but we're going to talk about the basics here as far as a V-track sidewall. What we have is all of our rollers are facing up. So on our sidewall hoop, we've installed our rollers on the bottom. We made sure that our grease fittings are facing away from the sidewall hoop so that we can grease them once the tunnel is in place. We have all four spacer boards here that we've made that have notches that set our spacing exactly 6 foot center to centers. So what we do is when we lay out the sidewall, we're going to start by laying out three sidewall hoops, and we'll use 4 spacer boards to ensure that our spacing is correct. We also, as we're going, we want to make sure, at least especially when we get started, that we measure our diagonals to make sure that we're building our wall square. Once we have our sidewall hoops where we want them, our rollers are on the bottom with the grease inserts facing away from the sidewall hoops, our spacer boards in to get our spacing correct. The first thing that we install is our sidewall purlin. Track tunnels need a sidewall purlin because there's nothing that's holding the bottom of the structure together aside from the baseboard on the outside. So what we do is we measure up from the bottom of the hoop, we measure up 30 inches. We've marked every one of these hoops at 30 inches, and then we started to put together our sidewall purlin. We started on one end. We used a purlin end, a 1 foot purlin end. We had secured it to the sidewall hoop with 2 brace bands, making sure the brace band bolts are facing in and away from the plastic. The next thing we did was we took a 12-foot purlin. We sleeved that purlin over that purlin end and immediately put a self-tapping screw into that joint so that they can't separate. Once we have ourselves at a right mark here, we went ahead and tightened these bolts down. We have all of our spacer boards in. We measured our diagonals to make sure that our wall is square and all of our spacing is correct. We then use 2 3/8 inch by 1 3/8 inch cross connectors to secure our purlins to our sidewall hoops. These are 1/4 inch bolts, so they get tightened down with a 7/16 inch deep socket. When tightening down cross connectors, I like to tighten one bolt a little bit, the next bolt a little bit, and go back and forth until it's snug. When we've ensured that our sidewall purlin is right at 30 inches above the ground, everything's square, all of our spacing is correct, we continue that process down the whole entire sidewall. Now we've completed the things that we need to do on the inside of the sidewall. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the entire wall over and be able to work on what's on the other side. This particular building that we're working on has all metal roll-up sides, and over here we have a completed sidewall where we have our hat purlin already installed on the outside. We'll show you how to do that next. What I want to talk about is when you're building your sidewalls, how to ensure that your rollers are all in the direction of the track. When you build your sidewalls, it's really easy to have this pipe slightly rotated, which means that your roller would not be in the direction of the track. So first, whenever we install the rollers, we make sure that the grease fittings are facing away from the sidewall hoop so that we can grease the rollers even when the building is up. There are 3 ways to try to make sure that the rollers are in the right direction. If you have the luxury of building this on something really flat, like on a concrete pad or something like that, and you know that your pad is totally level, what you can do is you can put a level on each roller, and if the ground is level underneath it and your roller is level, then you'll know that it's parallel to where the track will be. Second method is to measure in between the inner dimension from one roller to the next roller, and then continue that measurement between all the rollers. So if the distance in between the top edge of every roller from the inside to inside is correct for the whole sidewall, then you know that the rollers are rotated the same way, that all the rollers are rotated in the same direction. Another method which we really like to use is to take either a long pipe or one of the aluminum extrusions that's rigid, and what we do is we lay it along multiple rollers. So if this roller was rotated in some sort of way, you'd be able to see that it's not flush and touching that long straight piece on both sides. So if you're flush on both of these, and you come over here to the next piece, or if you have a 12-foot piece to use, and you're flush on both of those, then you know that all the rollers are rotated in the same direction. And that's the easiest way to make sure that the rollers are facing in the direction of the track.